Hello everyone and welcome to this video episode from the Veg Grower Podcast. And this week you join me at Westdean House and Gardens, just north of Chichester in West Sussex, for Chilli Fiesta, which is actually one of my favourite events of the year. I go to this most years. It's grown every year and it is just a thoroughly enjoyable day out. Now it's spread across 3 lawns with various gardens that are open to visit and have a wander around. As you can see with this map, it's a pretty big event. And there's various stalls going round in all the odd places, including seeds, plants, oils, sauces, and various things like that. Plenty of food to try and test out and see what you think before purchasing. Overall, there's a lot going on, and it's not about the hottest chilies and the things like that, although there is some of that, of course. It's more about the flavours, I think, and just the chili as a theme, I guess, is the best way to put it. Various other stalls, such as a garlic farm, as you probably just saw, and so on. Now, for lunch, we sat on the main lawn with the entertainment going on the main stage. Various bands are playing kind of Latin and salsa-based music. Thoroughly enjoyable. Some very good versions of bands. I don't know what this bloke's amazed about, but something's going on. I was actually eating a goat curry down here. It was really nice, and I like to try different types of food. So that jumped out at me. We also had churros for dessert, also very nice, and the obligatory cider, also very nice. Cheers. Now these are the spring gardens, which have got a lot of artwork. It is also an art college as well as a gardening college at Westdean, so they've incorporated that this year. I've never actually seen these gardens before, and I've been going for a few years, so it's very interesting. And it seems like they've incorporated the ditches from the gardens to make this kind of central feature. And I guess during the winter, when the fields overflow and what have you, this just fills up with water. Now this is my favourite particular areas. We're here at the moment. This is the orchard with plenty of apples and various other fruits growing on all these trees that are trained in many cases and kind of left a bit wild. It's a very peaceful area, very nice to get away for a bit, and I just love walking around these bits every time I come to these gardens. There's of course flowers and plants that aren't edible, but I'm not that interested in those, if I'm honest. This is kind of what my wife wants my garden to look like, with a kind of meadowy and natural looking. I like the orchard ideas. There's quite a few greenhouses we have here at Westdean as well. Some are undergoing refurbishment, but they are Victorian greenhouses and they are absolutely stunning. And there's a lot of them, as you'll see as we go on throughout this video. As you can also see, it's quite busy, so it was difficult getting the camera in moving people out the way who are just trying to enjoy their day. But in this one, we have a lot of tomatoes growing, some quite ripe. I didn't see any blight or anything at all like that, so they're growing very well. It is a agriculture college, so the students are kind of learning how to grow these things. not only are the students learning how to grow all the plants and the vegetables here, the vegetables are also used in the cafe, which I really like the idea of that, using the food that's grown and being able to eat it on the same land. There's just a couple of figs against this wall as well, trained. Obviously using the heat of the wall to keep the figs growing, creating various microclimates, which obviously, as many of you will know, that's what the wall gardens is about. In here we have a lot more greenhouses. We'll take a walk through a few of them. And this one's just full of some potted plants. I don't really know these particular plants, they're not edible, so that's not my particular forte. Down the end on that far wall, as we come outside, there's some espalier trained fruit trees, pears, apples, that sort of thing. It's amazing how well they actually do, even though they look like they'll be restricted. But no, a lot of them, and then they're in there close together. Now for plants, this greenhouse here is one of my favourite. It's kind of a tropical and the orchid house. It's very humid in this particular pit as well. It's really good, and it's well worth a visit. If anybody is interested, it's well worth a visit down to Westdean just to have a look at all these various greenhouses.
Yeah, and it's linked to a timer, so it waters the entire garden. Cool. I think it's about an acre's worth of plants altogether while he's away. But he said the fun part of it was building it, not
I bet it was. No, I went into the garden and that stuff doesn't come cheap.
Here we have the cold frames that are growing various salad items in and hardening off in other places. Yeah, not much more I can say on that. There's some succulents growing there. I used to really like growing succulents. I used to grow a lot of them, but I grew out of that phase.
Well, you guys go. I'll walk around it.
Now this greenhouses we got coming up are down in the ground. Again, that's to do with heat and microclimate, but we'll climb on down these in just a second and have a wander through. Yeah, gonna go in. Yeah. But they got aubergines. Haven't managed aubergines. I was quite jealous of the aubergines they've actually managed to produce on these. It's amazing. I've always struggled with aubergines, so that's one I'm trying to learn. Various peppers. And then in this section we have a lot of vine tomatoes. As you can see, people are really fascinated with how these are growing. People are taking photos and what have you. Yeah, just amazing. Thick foliage, plenty of tomatoes growing. Looks really good. Now we can go out through the end of this one, so we'll come back the other way. As you can see, it is quite narrow, so coming through with a bag and the camera and everything was pretty difficult, but I don't want to ruin people's day at the same time, so yeah. Now into here, lots and lots of chilies of various colours, heats, varieties. It really an awesome collection and really good, amazing views actually. I know the Grumpy Gardener's grown some purple jalapenos, so if you're watching this, mate, what do you think of these ones in comparison?
30 degrees, yeah.
That one? Yeah. Back in long months you never made it. And where was the original of it? On the strike one as well.
The zero. Oh, that's a fine plant.
Yeah, so looking more towards the nice shape.
I liked the darker coloured leaves on that plant as well. There was a few of those I saw as we were walking around.
Yeah, you could grow one inside, couldn't you? Grow a few on the window.
You could. But do you think there's a special way of doing it? You know, like with tomatoes, you cut any suckers off. I mean, I've never done that with tomatoes.
Yeah. No, recently on tomatoes you use like mental leaves. So before we put some leaves that grow out of the joint.
That's right, it's meant to get rid of that.
45-degree ones. Yeah. And then all the lower.
Now up against these walls you should see some fan-trained peaches and nectarines and things. That's our group. Again, really fascinatingly well done. I really enjoyed just looking at these and seeing how they've grown them. It's also interesting how the microclimates make all the difference with some of these plants. Although some of these are quite a few years old. I believe these wall gardens date back to Victorian times as well, so they're pretty old, although they have been through restoration and reclamation in various things. So here we are now in the kind of vegetable patch area, and I love this vegetable patch. I'd be very happy with this size garden if I'm honest. It's some sort of either pond or water collection to use on irrigation, and those rows of cabbages, I mean, they were huge and a massive collection. Certainly been able to make a lot of food out of those, a lot of meals. You see all the various kales and other brassicas grown down this side.
There's a surprise. I reckon pretty rare.
Again, the walls are used on the back for growing other trees and fruit. And these arches are pear trees grown into an arch. This particular bit is chard and some asparagus and other plants on that side. Up ahead, all the various chards and different colours from the chard, which I always like to see. Sweet corn, which just towers above me, and I'm 6 foot, so it's really amazing growth. All the courgettes and squashes are coming up, and beans. French beans, runner beans, you name it, they had them growing here. More sweet corn. A few plants, I guess, to aid pollination here. Pumpkins and other various squashes were growing away here. Taking up a lot of land and giving really good cover. The blackberries over the far side there. So we've got some lot of soft fruit areas around here as well as the celery with the terracotta forcing units, I believe they're called.
There's Jackie.
This is the other side of those arches with all the pears. I love just how they look. I can't get my words out now. They look good while providing food, which I often say in the podcast is what I'm really after. And these are raspberries
Yeah,
and
I've got
loganberries
bigger.
They're longer as well.
and all that sort of thing.
I'll crawl in there and get some.
Here we are, just looking across the various beds. So that's it for this week. I'm going to wrap up now and leave you with this view of the dahlias, one flower plant that I do recognise. Again, beautiful colours and various things. If you've enjoyed this, it's well worth a visit down at West Dean Gardens. And thank you very